veteran of military service?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Army, Navy, Air
Army.
Force? Army?
Yes,
What
sir.
unit?
Special Forces.
Special Forces. What years? I was in Special Forces.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That is the Veterans Affairs Secretary, Robert McDonald, talking to a homeless veteran and saying to the homeless veteran, I was in Special Forces when he wasn't in Special Forces. Joining us now, Congressman Ryan Zinke, and he's a member of the House Armed Services Committee and former Navy SEAL. Sir, before we get to what I guess you'd consider to be more important issues, I'm sure, I have to ask you to weigh in on this. I mean, you know, this isn't Brian Williams. This is the head of Veterans Affairs lying about his service. What's your reaction?
Well, you know, he's a West Point grad. He did go to Ranger School and was 82nd Airborne. Was not assigned to Special Forces. You know, I'll take his apology. But, you know, I think the larger concern, I think, is the VA is not fixed. You know, and I'm in a position where Ken Shinseki, General Shinseki, I work for him. I knew him personally. You know, here's a guy that I know that has a great deal of care for the veterans, and he couldn't fix it. And new guy comes in, says he's going to fire 1,000. You know, I'd like to know how many of those 1,000 people he fired, but I don't think the VA is anywhere close to being fixed, and that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. All right, you wrote a great piece in the Washington Times, "A War Plan Without a Road to Victory." You know, people in the press, they, especially on the left, they don't seem to understand. They ask Republicans, well, why don't you give the president what he requested? Why don't you just, you know, approve the AUMF? And the fact of the matter is, it's weak. It's worse off. We'd make us worse off from a war perspective or an ability to go get ISIS and others' perspective than we are now.
You know what it does do, though? It gives us an opportunity to have a plan presented by the president. What is the plan? Between General Conway, former four-star Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Abizaid, the hearings we've had on the Hill in the House Armed Services, clearly air operations alone is not going to defeat ISIS. It will take embedding the right force with our coalition friends. And look, this is from, you know, a father as well as a former commander. My daughter's in the Navy. My son-in-law is an active duty SEAL. And at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to see our forces embedded without the right force structure. That means you got to make sure that you can't bed one or two, because we've seen what happens should one of our guys gets captured. He's going to be, you know, in a cage, burned alive like the Jordanian pilot. So you need medevac. That means we're going to have our guys in our footprint for a medevac. You have to have a force structure of a quick reaction force in case they get pinned down, so you don't have another Somalia or Benghazi on our hands. And the footprint is going to be more than just a sprinkling if we're going to beat and win decisive in the battlefield. So I think we're going to have hearings, and I and other members would like to hear from the president how he's going to achieve his stated mission to degrade and destroy ISIS.
But, you know, we hear from John Kerry. I think we just heard from him again today, and you alluded to this in your piece, which was written before today, that, you know, where ISIS is on the road to defeat. Today he talked about supply line they disrupted or they destroyed. These little pinprick success stories, 2,000-plus sorties in months and months and months. To a man like you understand that it's basically a joke.
Well, and last week, remember the great success of repulsing the attack on the airfield. I mean, that was 8 people. Yeah. That wasn't an attack. So, yeah, we repulsed 8 people. And that's somehow a victory, as well as Yemen is a victory. It goes on and on and on. They're advancing, 70,000 now, as many, foreign warriors. Clearly, we're not on a road to victory. We're going backwards. Iran is going to be front and center with their nuclear weapon that they're right now the centrifuges are working. So and clearly it's not for peaceful purposes. So this foreign policy that this president has concocted is I guess the bottom line is our enemy is no longer fear us and our allies don't trust us.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, and I think you're right on target. I just want to also ask you about the DHS bill. I believe that you were a signatory to a letter asking the GOP leadership not to cave on this. Mitch McConnell now has a plan, which I don't see how he considers this a victory. It's nothing more than making the Democrats go on record. It doesn't do anything that the Republicans wanted, certainly that the House wanted. His plan is, let's have a straight up and down vote on the Homeland Security bill, the funding for them. We'll give them all the money, but then the Democrats have to go on the record whether they're for or against the immigration executive order. Is that good enough for you guys in the House?
Well, to me, it's a question of the Constitution. And the immigration bill is, a part of a larger issue. Is when one of the former commander, I gave an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And as a congressman, I'd be honored to do the same. And that's so help me God. And it's an issue about Constitution, Article 1, Article 2. The president 22 times said he did not have the authority to do what I call unconstitutional actions. The federal court agrees. So to a degree, this is not about immigration. This is about the Constitution itself, and there's some things that are not negotiable. And I would say family, faith, the Constitution, and you can probably add guns and coal in Montana. But this is a constitutional issue, which I don't think, and certainly I am not going to blink. I think the right way out of this is if you want to put legislation to address our amendments, that's fine. We can sit down and we can talk about it and hopefully find a win-win out of it. But to go and say that this president's action somehow is justifiable, I think Congress should stand.
And
stand firm.
And do you think that Boehner will not blink along with you?
Well, I'm hoping we're unified in a caucus. Because it is the Constitution. And I don't know how to express that more strongly.
No, you're doing a great job. I don't have all the confidence in the world in John Boehner once Mitch McConnell gets going, not to go along with McConnell and urge you guys to do the same. But we will see. Congressman, thank you for your time and thanks for addressing all the issues. I appreciate it, sir.
Hey, you're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Congressman Ryan Zinke, ladies and gentlemen, member of the House Armed Services Committee, former Navy SEAL, and an American hero who's fighting the fight now in Congress to preserve the sanctity of the Constitution and make sure that the president doesn't overstep his bounds. The Malzberg panel's next. We'll talk about this and more. Don't go away.